Hey everybody, what's good? Jubitaz back with a special video for y'all where today we're gonna be looking at some additional lore content. Now, I've already covered most of the canon events and characters and plot lines of Naruto, and I've also pretty much went over every single Uchiha in my famed Uchiha iceberg video, from Izumi Uchiha to Kagami, Hikaku, Setsuna, and even the Uchiha conspirators Tekka, Inabi, Yashiro. However, one Uchiha I didn't mention, who's only canon to the Naruto Boruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Connections game, is a young kunoichi named Hikari or Nanashi Uchiha, a girl that grew up during the Warring States era who possessed a Mangekyo Sharingan ability so powerful that she was caged and used as an ultimate weapon by the Uchiha clan. A girl that was later on sealed by their rivals the Senju and developed so much hatred for the shinobi world that when she was later on revived by a follower of Pain named Mers, she joined forces with his organization to reduce the ninja world to ash, and had to face and was pretty much talk no jutsu'd by the 7th Hokage's son, Boruto. Now, I usually don't cover non-canon Boruto stories on this channel. However, since this story is actually kinda decent, and we do get to see Boruto following in Naruto's footsteps, narratively speaking, and it also plays on the lore of the original series, and we actually get a lot more information about Hikari than the other background borderline fanfic Uchiha like Hikaku for example, I figured that today I'll tell you guys the tale of Hikari Uchiha. Now, I already talked about the Warring States era in one of my more recent videos, so go check it out if you want to see more details about that era. But basically, this was likely the most turbulent and deadly time to be a shinobi. It was an era of feuding clans, where children bore the casualty of war because they were thrown into the battlefield too young. And Hikari Uchiha had the unfortunate fate of being born to one of the most notorious clans of that generation, the Uchiha clan. Even though her parents named her Hikari, which means light or radiance in Japanese, because they wished for her to live her life in sunshine as much as possible, unfortunately, she soon suffered the cursed fate of the shinobi. Both her parents were killed during the Warring States era, which is likely what triggered her Mangekyo Sharingan, and she awakened extremely overpowered abilities. Not only could she use the Amaterasu flames like Itachi and Sasuke, but she was also a Genjutsu master, and had an ability that worked like a play on both Itachi's Tsukuyomi and Chisui's Koro Amatsukami. With her engraved Tsukuyomi, she could reflect the light of her Sharingan off of the moon to brand everyone caught in it with a blemish shaped like her Mangekyo pattern. And with the Yachi Hoko, she could control the minds and chakra of everyone with an engraved Tsukuyomi branding, erasing their memories and turning them into puppets that she is able to manipulate. She could also transfer that person's chakra to herself or her allies. And because of her fearsome powers, she became the ultimate weapon for the Uchiha clan, and she got that Kimimaru treatment. She was left trapped inside a cage, only to be used in battle, completely dehumanized and even stripped off of her name. The Uchiha warmongers renamed her Nanashi, which means nameless or anonymous, to signify her lack of identity as a human being. She was treated like how the Jinchuriki used to be treated, only referred to as an it, and that fueled her raging hatred for her own clan and for shinobi in general. She was often used in battles against the Senju clan, and was considered so detrimental to the Senju that they had to form an alliance with the Sarutobi clan to deal with her, and both clans worked together to seal her underground to prevent her powers from being used against them again. And just like that, Nanashi remained sealed for centuries up until the reign of the 7th Hokage, when she was unsealed by a shinobi named Mers. Mers was a former rain ninja that idealized Pain, and even fought on his side during the civil wars in the Hidden Rain. That war blinded him. He lost his vision as well as many family and friends for the cause. He believed in Nagato's philosophy about the karmic cycle of hatred and how shinobi were bound by conflicts, that conflicts gave purpose to the life of a shinobi, and that the new era of peace ushered in by Naruto and Sasuke after the 4th Shinobi War has deprived many shinobi that were left broken or lost their families to the past conflicts without an outlet to release their rage. This age of peace simply had no place for the former shinobi that still wished to express themselves through fighting, who wish for a world where they can draw blood and vent their emotions. And those rejects would come to join MERS and form the organization named as Zero. It was named that because its goal was to reduce the current shinobi world to zero. MERS may have aligned with Pain, but he didn't wish to do everything he'd envisioned in the exact same way. He was a lot more drawn to the warmongering or destructive aspects of Pain's philosophy, with little interest in the momentary peace that it would result in. And he definitely did not appreciate the resolution that Nagato had with Naruto. So some years after the Fourth War, he'd come to lead a group of outcast shinobi in the hopes of reigniting the flames of conflict and starting the Fifth Great Ninja War. And Zero would also undo the seal on Hikari or Nanashi and recruit the hate-filled Uchiha for their cause of destroying the shinobi world. And their plans hinged on this ruse, disguised as a virtual reality game named Ninja Heroes, which Zero distributed anonymously to several video game stores throughout the Leaf and the other great nations. This game became very popular rather quickly. It allowed the users to play as avatars of former famous shinobi of the past like the Kage or even members of the Akatsuki. But little did the players know that the whole purpose of this game was to replenish the chakra of Nanashi since she'd been sealed for so long, so the game functioned as a chakra draining device, and it left most of its players feeling exhausted after playing the game for several hours, and to distribute blemishes onto Shinobi so that she could eventually enact the engraved Tsukuyomi. And Nanashi embedded herself into the game and pretended to be its virtual host. She could control all aspects of the game in part because of the fact that she created the mental space with her powerful genjutsu mind-altering abilities, and that virtual space itself was hosted in Zero's hideout. And Nanashi kept posing as the host while the players got more involved in the game events that revolved around gathering kiseki. The kiseki were crystals that stored an individual's memories, and when connected to the Yachihoko, Nanashi could use them to influence the people's memories. And to show you just how powerful her Yachihocho mind control ability was, not only was she able to control several shinobi around the world and implant warmongering commands within their brains to build up for the Fifth Great Shinobi War, she was also even able to mind control the 7th Hokage Naruto. Not even the Nine Tails could free him from that control. And she pinned him against Sasuke, where the two titans finally clashed again. Except that this time, the roles were reversed, with Naruto being hell-bent on fighting and Sasuke saying that he'd do whatever it takes to stop him. So that's another really cool aspect of this special story mode. And that was Zero's hidden agenda behind the game. They wanted to get as many people as they could under the influence of her Mangekyo ability to launch the Fifth War, and in general just wreak havoc on the ninja world and pin shinobi against each other. However, Nanashi starts getting cold feet when she meets Boruto, and this is one story where Boruto serves as a parallel to the young Naruto and makes the antagonist question their actions. Boruto's humane and friendly treatment of Hikari, who had never experienced friendship before and only saw the ugly side of the shinobi world, made her hesitate. She even tries to implicitly discourage Boruto from participating in these events, knowing what their true purpose was. However, she isn't able to maintain her facade for long, and when the new Team 7 starts getting on her track, she's forced to reveal her true identity, and she faces Boruto, Sarada, and Mitsuki and defeats the trio, and then she leaves them trapped inside that space before going back to MERS. And they remain there until Toneri intercepts that time-space and frees them. Toneri takes Boruto to a different realm, where the both of them try to restore the memories of those that have been brainwashed by the Yashihoko, by sending Boruto to the past so he could experience and collect Naruto's memories, as according to Toneri, everyone currently alive knows or is connected to Naruto somehow. So if they manage to restore Naruto's Kiseki, then they could save the others as well. This is also a cathartic experience for Boruto as he gets to live through his father's long and incredible journey, making him more connected to Naruto than ever. However, when Boruto returns, he sees that a Kiseki of Nanashi's has emerged due to his meddling with the memories. It was hidden before, but now that she was gone, it emerged to the surface. And since Boruto barely knew anything about her painful past, he decides to see all of her memories in detail, experience her complete backstory, how she was shackled all her childhood in order to be used as an ultimate weapon by the Uchiha, all the dehumanization that she was subjected to, even having her name stripped away and given an alternative that held no value to take away from her individuality. All of this fostered her hatred for the shinobi. And since he just walked a mile through Naruto's shoes and understood what a powerful tool empathy was, just like Naruto, Boruto started to feel a similar way towards Nanashi. So when Boruto confronted her in the Zero headquarters, he took a page from his old man's book and tried to appeal to the humanity buried deep inside of her. He acknowledged that the both of them had a completely different upbringing, that she only saw the worst that the shinobi world had to offer and grew up in the most conflict-riddled era in comparison to Boruto, who had a much more peaceful and loving upbringing. And all of his words and compassion left Nanashi feeling conflicted. The talk no jutsu really got to her, so despite her having the clear combat advantage over Boruto, she couldn't go through with killing him. And that's when Mertz revealed that he had a contingency plan and that he had a seal implanted within her that allowed him to control her body, similar to the seal that Madara had on Obito. So he hijacked her body and forced her to attack again. However, she's intercepted by Naruto and Sasuke, who free the hostages taken by Zero and confront Merz about his ambitions. And having to face such a powerful duo like this pushes Merz to bring out his trump card. He revealed that underneath the bandages that covered his eyes were artificial replicas of Nanashi's Mangekyo Sharingan that allowed him to use her Yashihoko ability, and he absorbs the chakra of all of those that have been branded with the blemish, which consists of thousands upon thousands of shinobi, and he awakens a red full-bodied Susanoo. And he forces Naruto and Sasuke to use their ultimate move, the Susanoo-cladded Ninetales. However, Merz absorbed most of Naruto's chakra, so they were at a massive disadvantage, and they almost got beat until Nanashi used her Mangekyo ability to transfer all of the chakra she gathered to Boruto. And the combination of Naruto, Sasuke, and Boruto is able to overcome and defeat Merz. Nanashi, or shall I say Hikari, died due to giving Boruto all of her remaining chakra, imparting onto him a kiseki of their shared memories before her passing. Now, for the ending of this special story, Toneri is able to use the space that hosted the Ninja Heroes game in combination with the Kiseki to teleport Boruto into the past and change the events for the future, which is a measure that Boruto was restricted of doing when he was sent to record Naruto's memories at first. Toneri is able to send Boruto back to the Warring States era in order to rescue Nanashi, and Boruto shows up to the imprisoned and oppressed girl and offers to stand up for her by helping her escape, and then by also facing the Uchiha that kept her bound within that cage. And this causes a huge change for Nanashi, because what she needed all along in order to not be consumed by the curse of hatred was to see some good from the shinobi world. And Boruto standing up for her and freeing her was all that she needed to become a changed shinobi. And Boruto has a touching moment with her at the end before he vanishes, where he reminds her of her original name, Hikari, meaning light, and how she should try to live her life to the fullest and that he would always remain with her, that she will never truly be alone. And as Boruto has altered the events of the past, this reflects on the future, and the whole incident with Zero and the Fifth War and the VR game itself, Ninja Heroes, ceases to exist. And now, I know that this isn't really a canon story, but I figured that since all of the canon ones have been recited endlessly, it might be interesting to tackle what was actually not a bad special story of the Ninja Storm Connections game. I mean, it's better than most of the Boruto filler. It has Naruto and Sasuke fighting in reversed roles, we get to see a disciple of pain, and even a new Uchiha that once again reinstates the themes of compassion that were so prevalent in the original series. And now, if unique Naruto concept videos like this intrigue you, then be sure to hit that subscriber button and check out all the other incredible videos that we have over here. And other than that, peace out.